Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's Laura from today's Shift Taurus Tarot and Astro Insights, and we're going to talk about the astrology forecast for the Twin Flame Collective for the week ahead. And then we are going to dig deeper with the Oracle cards and some tarot cards. So please feel free, if you're new here, to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video, and share the video, please, especially if you're resonating with the messages that I'm putting out there. It's just a nice, free, easy way to help the channel to grow, and it does encourage me to keep putting these messages out there. So we've got some pretty heavy energy. I don't know how the rest of you have been doing throughout last weekend, but a very heavy, very thick energy, almost like molasses, almost a little bit depressing. And I do think that was due to the Venus conjunct Saturn energy. We also had the moon last weekend transiting through Virgo, forming an opposition to Neptune and an opposition to Saturn. And we also had the sun in Capricorn trine the moon at 29 degrees. And those of you that know astrology know that 29 is a very important degree. It's considered an anaretic degree. It is the completion of a cycle. And so the energy is thick, to say the least. Thankfully, these aspects are separating. And now, as I'm recording this reading, the moon is in Libra. Although for me, with the moon transiting through my 8th house, it's still a little heavy, especially when it comes to addressing old relationship wounds and relationship patterns. So before going really deep into the astrology, let's break it down to what's happening throughout the week. On Monday, we do have the sun sextile the North Node, and the sun is now in Aquarius. So happy birthday, Aquas. I'm pretty sure I wished you a happy birthday last week, but it is official. We are in Aquarius season today officially. So happy birthday to any of my Aquarian subscribers and followers out there. On Tuesday, we do have the sun in a conjunction to Pluto. We also have Mercury squaring it up with Chiron, that wounded healer energy. On Thursday, major transits playing out connected to Mercury and Mars. We've got Mercury square Lilith. We've got Mercury opposite Mars, Mercury trine Uranus, Mercury sextile Mars, and Mars in a square to Lilith. I do feel that's a big day. There was a very prominent energy of the King of Wands coming through, connected to the masculine collective. On Saturday, January 25th, we're going to have Venus in a trine to Mars. And then on Sunday, we're going to close off the week with Mercury sextile Neptune and Venus sextile Uranus. And so the number syncs have been very loud for me lately. I've been running a lot of errands. It seems I've been pretty busy doing a lot of 3D things. And the number syncs that really stood out to me throughout the last week was 252, 202, 232, 111's been really loud, almost daily, 303, 353, and 313. So I did want to mention that. And so let's talk a little bit about this twin flame journey first, because this is a very significant journey. And usually it's two people, two individuals that activate one another on the spiritual path when it comes to personal and spiritual growth, first and foremost, right? It's really not about a romantic relationship. And so I also feel with that Venus conjunct Saturn energy, it was kind of like ripping off the Band-Aid. It was really an energy of being disillusioned. If you've been wearing rose-colored glasses, waiting for somebody to come back around that has maybe hurt you or awakened you or broken your heart, or if you're in some type of karmic cycle in a relationship currently, calling it twin flame and then kind of maybe realizing like, hey, this is not good for me. This is not healthy for me. And so I think the label twin flame really gets misconstrued throughout a lot of channelings. And so this really is a journey of highlighting the importance of duality and the relationship when it comes to balance and alignment of self. And so I just feel there is a need for cooperation and harmony. We are one whole giant collective. And I feel there was a very powerful message of unity coming through, because I do feel this is the year where we enter into a new beginning. We are in a 9-year 9 is the energy of completion. It is the energy of the hermit, where we kind of go through this process of re-identifying with ourselves through this deep inner introspection. And after the 9, we get to the 1. And so we're on the precipice of a new beginning. Whether you are in separation, which we like to call that, or you're about to reunite, or you're preparing to meet your twin, I just want to say, I do believe we can have many twin soul interactions throughout our life journey. And so this is a journey of trusting ourselves, trying to stay optimistic despite the darkness, despite the challenges, because as all of these energies shift later in the year, about mid-year, with Saturn moving into Aries and then dipping back, there is a huge karmic cleanup going on. And so we do have to stay optimistic. We have to consciously work at adopting a really positive mindset. And that's not spiritually bypassing. We still have to do the deep introspection of the shadow work. And I've been thrust into the shadows pretty heavily lately in these energies. I've actually been studying a transit chart. I pulled a transit chart for myself last night when the sun was in a trine to the moon in Virgo, because I am a Virgo moon at 22 degrees, and I wanted to kind of see where these energies were sitting at in my chart and why I felt this deep underlying depression kind of washing over me. And I'm still in it, whether you believe that or not. But we do have to still maintain that positive mindset. It's okay to sit in it. We can't avoid the negative emotions. We do have to sit in it. But we also have to keep that positive mindset despite the negative energies that we're kind of working through collectively. Because when we keep that positive mindset, despite the challenges, despite the struggles, this allows us to attract more good energy, more good people, more really good experiences in our life. But I feel we are being spiritually tested right now. I did have a gentleman kind of come back on the scene throughout the weekend. There was an apology, a confession in regards to some lies being told, and then almost like a repetitive pattern within 24 hours. And so I think this is a big reminder, though. We do have to be willing to step outside of our comfort zone, but we're not here to kind of save people from their own karmic wreckage. And so don't be so quick to kind of go out and save somebody, and really take that step back and don't look at a situation in this fanatical illusion or this fantasy world of what you want it to be. You kind of got to look at things at face value right now, especially with that Venus conjunct Saturn energy that is now kind of separating, but we're still working our way through whatever was kind of shown to us when it comes to piercing the veil of illusion. And so we got to be willing to step out of our comfort zone, though. We got to be willing to take risks. And we do have to go after creating our dream. But we also don't want to become illusioned in some type of fantasy when it comes to relationships. And so we do have to become the love that we are seeking. It really isn't about an external person on the twin flame journey. When you are activated, you are called to bring yourself into alignment and to become what it is that you are seeking, because we can't expect anybody else to fill that void within us. We have to become love itself. And so we also have to open up to address all of these relationship issues. Relationships are a part of our every single day life, whether it's a work relationship, a family relationship, a romantic relationship, a parent-child relationship. And I have relationships with my cats and my dog. Our entire human existence is based upon relationships. And so we have to address all of these relationship issues, personal relationship issues, societal relationship issues. And we do have to keep an open heart, and we have to be willing to put ourselves out there, because it's a 9 year symbolizing the hermit. A lot of us are going into introspection, but we don't grow and learn by avoiding relationship triggers. We grow and learn when we are triggered, and we can work through those triggers and address the pattern and recognize what's being repeated. And so with these energies playing out this week, I was shown the Fool with the World card, and I kept hearing Saturn, Saturn, Saturn. And so I feel we are at this major completion of the twin flame journey. That's what it feels like for me. A major sign that we are completing this very long process of the twin flame journey, and we're ready to embark on a new relationship journey. And so there is a new beginning here. There is a new adventure here, but it's kind of a little bit unknown. Because when I really sit in the bigger scheme of everything that has transpired since my spontaneous Kundalini awakening, I don't want the past to come back, because when the past comes back, it's usually just to recognize the repeated pattern. I had to work through a lot of anger connected to the opposition between the moon and Saturn and Neptune throughout the weekend. It really hit me heavy when it comes to my own personal transformation journey and the lack of support. And so it's not to say that I don't have support. I actually had a wonderful chit chat this morning back and forth on Messenger with another very talented, very gifted divine feminine. You should go check her out on YouTube, The Spirit Lounge, Lisa at The Spirit Lounge. And this feeling of being unsupported, I have support from all kinds of soul sisters. I have support from my mother, my stepfather, my children, but I lack that support that I need in my day-to-day reality. I have not had intimacy with a romantic partner going on about 6 years now. And to sit with that and really spiral back to that same lesson and the same pattern of the anger of not feeling supported, and this person choosing to go down a different pathway and to not do the work and to avoid the ascension process with me to get me here to this point. And so I'm ready for a new beginning. Every ending kind of creates a new beginning, right? But we do have to be open to the possibilities. I looked up and it was 1111. The possibilities that the universe has to offer. We can't stay stuck on this one person. I read, I actually went to a local used bookstore in town and I grabbed a bunch of books for myself and the girls. And let me grab this one book. Oh, the Soul Psychology. So I'm a huge collector of books. I also want to mention, if you're not a channel member, go check out the membership side, because we just launched a book club this year and we're almost through the first month. We've been reading Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth. Totally mind-blowing. It's definitely been shedding a lot of patterns when it comes to the identity of my ego and allowing me to kind of work through these triggers with a little bit more grace than maybe I would have in the past. But anyways, back to reality. I was just flipping through all of the books. I got several books. Soul Psychology. I got, The Untethered Soul. I'm really excited to read that book. I bought The Empowerment Through Reiki. I don't practice Reiki per se, but I was thinking of a friend when I picked that up. I thought this one looked really interesting. I was just drawn to all of the green and the word Zen, the 3 pillars of Zen. And I do feel that's going to be a good read. And then look at Meditation for Dummies. Although I don't really have any issues meditating. I meditate regularly, daily, and I can shut my mind off just like that. But I thought, once again, I thought of a friend and maybe to compile some information to share with all of you. And then Healing Your Past Lives. That one I was really drawn to. But I was flicking through these books and I couldn't even believe it. There was a section on twin flames. And according to Dwal Kuhl, I hope I said that right, a twin flame relationship is a romantic relationship with a soul extension from your own soul group. Each monad creates 12 souls, and each soul then creates 12 soul extensions who incarnate in the material universe. So think about the big scheme of twin flame when I say that. A soul extension, right, of 12 souls, and then another 12 soul extension from those 12 souls incarnated in the material universe. It doesn't mean we're all on planet Earth, though. And so each one of you is one of 12 extensions from your soul. How insane and crazy is that? And then it goes further to say a relationship with another one of those extensions does not happen very often. In fact, it's a very rare occurrence. The soul does not usually like it to happen because the relationship tends to be such a powerful attraction that the two people tend to get lost in each other. It does happen occasionally, but not as often as most people fantasize it to be. And so I think there's a lot of confusion as to what this all means. And so I forget where I read the extension all the way to 144 somewhere, but if you think of the 144,000, I do believe it's a frequency, and we do have fragmented pieces of our soul throughout the universe. It doesn't mean we're all incarnated in this physical reality. So just food for thought. I'm gonna definitely be digging into that book, although it's not gonna be the book for the book club next month. But go check out the membership, guys, because for less than a cup of coffee a month, you can join me live every Thursday at noon. And I do pull into all 12 zodiacs. I have not had the energy to do zodiac readings for several months. I do want to get back into doing monthly zodiac readings. Just be patient with me. I am going through a major transformation in these energies with how they are aspecting my own personal planets and sitting in the housing of my birth chart. And so we need to remember all the twins are being given a fresh start regardless. And so we all have all of this wisdom from all of our life experiences that we've gained along the way. And now it's time to take on a new challenge. Maybe it's time to leave that whole twin flame belief behind about the romanticized relationship that kind of awakens us at the beginning of the journey and step boldly into something unknown that probably is going to lie ahead after we go through this cleanup with the Saturn and I believe it's Neptune both dipping into Aries and then retrograde. And then they're going to be dancing together. So we got some very big energies coming through in 2025. But let's talk about what we're up against this week with the Sun sextile the North Node. This is a wonderful astrological alignment where we are being asked to assert ourselves and to align with our life path. So we all have an area of our birth chart where this alignment is going to be taking place. For me, this alignment between the Sun and the North Node, the Sun is going to be sitting in my 12th house and the North Node is sitting in my first house. So the 12th house, as most of you all know, is burying the past, and the first house is ascending the karma. And so I'm in a very challenging yet harmonious alignment in these energies. So this really is a path of authenticity. It's a path of expressing your true self, your true gifts, staying connected to the path of spiritual growth, because we never stop learning, we never stop growing. And so this could bring forward a major change, a major crisis, and all crisis does have a silver lining. When I went through the crisis of my Kundalini awakening, I did come through the other side a little bit stronger, definitely a lot wiser. If you were to go back and watch videos from a few years ago when I started this channel, I certainly am not the person I was back then. I have become a lot stronger. I have a deeper sense of self. I have a deeper sense of confidence in sharing my truth and my gifts and my authentic self. And I've got a deeper confidence in where I'm headed. And so this aspect is bringing forward people who are destined to cross our paths to help us reveal our true power, to help us reveal maybe a pattern that's been holding us back from stepping into our karmic pathway in order to allow us to become more self-aware. And so I kept being shown a ruby. It was red, it was a ruby, and I know I have a ruby necklace that was my grandmother who passed, that was my grandmother's, and she had passed away back in 2016 while I was expecting my youngest daughter. I know she's a spirit guide, but the ruby stone really stood out to me in channeling this energy. And I think of the ruby stone, it's passion, it's protection, it's prosperity. And so I think the energies are really promoting our health, our healing. Detoxifying the body is another big message as we go through this spiritual purification. Rubies do offer protection, and it felt a very stimulating energy connected to the heart chakra, which is all about heart expansion. And so right now I feel there's a lot when it comes to unfolding personal psychology changes, which is the rewiring of the neural pathways of the brain once we become aware of our unconscious patterns and we make them conscious. And we got to reflect on our subconscious motivations. And so I think that's why that walk-in soul kind of come along in order for me to reflect not only on his motivations, but then my motivations of like, what do I want out of a relationship if I were to actually fully be open to moving on? And then I really had to sit with the downside of that, of maybe I don't want a relationship at all moving forward. But I feel the Divine Feminine Collective is really being pushed into blossoming when it comes to your self-expression and your creativity in the energies this week, and breaking these ties to these old patterns. Usually it is the Divine Feminine who becomes awakened and aware. And what I want to call the Matrix twin is oblivious to this connection because of all of the repressed emotions. And so don't wait around for somebody. We are not here to struggle with people and to get too involved with people who play into too much ego or lack empathy or have just refused to resolve these negative emotions at this time. So do not let complacency take hold because you're waiting on somebody who's stuck in a cycle and isn't growing with you. Do not allow their complacency to take hold on you, because we've still got to move forward with our mission work and on our journey. And so we also don't want to overlook new opportunities. And so new opportunities might not lead to anything permanent or of permanence, but it does allow us to challenge ourselves and to grow on a deeper emotional level. And so this is a time of potential deeper fulfillment, but it all does start with self. It doesn't stop with self, it starts with self. So I feel connected to the divine masculine collective in these energies. They are having to have that mirror held up to them when it comes to personal power, lack of originality. I was shown the Two of Wands connected to the divine masculine, along with the Tower and the Three of Swords. And then they took me further to the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords, the two fastest forward moving knights of the deck. And so they're really at this major crossroads is what it feels like. They are at a standstill is what that felt like for me. When it comes to analysis paralysis or over planning or over preparation. And so I do think a lot of the divine masculines are stuck at this crossroads energy, needing to understand their own identity and their purpose. And they're needing to understand where they need to take responsibility for whatever it is that they've created in their personal reality. And there needs to be a refocus on goals, I feel, especially with Mars retrograde connected to the masculine energy. There is this energy of progress and movement forward, but it's inner progress, it's inner work. And with the Tower and the Three of Swords, I feel a major indication of the divine masculine collective going through intense emotional upheaval. And we all know what the Three of Swords represents. It represents betrayal, heartbreak. Usually our thoughts will break our heart more than the heartbreak itself. But they may have recently gone through an unexpected event, or they could have gone through something in their personal life that has upheaved them, that has caused them to feel emotionally devastated. And then with the Knight of Wands to the Knight of Swords, this is like two very fast, exciting energies. But I feel this is where the masculine is being challenged, right? I feel it's giving the masculine the energy and the courage to pursue their goals. But there's a very cunning energy attached to those two knights, right? Really not a fan of the knights because they're not really emotionally mature. It's this energy of, I'm just going to take action. I'm not going to worry about the consequences of the action that I'm taking. And so there is a very powerful energy of action and movement connected to those energies. But I do feel there's such fast-paced movement. It can really lead to a lot of unexpected crisis. I also feel this energy of cutting through the BS. There is a need for the masculines to kind of get straight to the point. No more BS. It's almost like a reckoning energy surrounding the masculines in these energies. On Tuesday with the Sun conjunct Pluto and Mercury square Chiron. Let's face it, Mercury square Chiron, not a very pleasant energy at all. Square aspects are probably one of the harshest astrology aspects. Chiron connected to that core wound. Mercury connected to communication at 19 degrees at a very karmic degree at that. And with the Sun conjunct Pluto, this is the death to these karmic cycles is really what it feels like. I'm going to have that conjunction in my 12th house. I'm a 12th house Aquarius at 1 degree 12. And so there's an orb difference of 30 connected to those energies in my own personal birth chart. And so it was a very significant energy coming through. I do feel with the Sun aligning to transformative Pluto, there's a fusion of channeling this very tremendous, powerful energies this week for self-evolution. Pluto is driving this death process forward, this rebirth process forward, and I am in the thick of it with the 12th house for me being the house of karma, the house of spirituality, and the house that knows no bounds. But on the other side of the death is the rising of the phoenix, is the rebirth. And so there's a lot of illumination, I feel, no matter where you have Aquarius in your chart. It's going to be sitting somewhere in your chart, even if you have an intercepted chart and you don't actually have an Aquarius house. But anyway, it's going to illuminate the change that must take place. It's going to illuminate the power that we need to enact the change, because Pluto is here to dig up a lot of truth. It's going to bring out a lot of shadowy elements, but when we work through the shadowy elements and we evolve beyond the shadow, we have a breakthrough when it comes to holding more light. And so there could be a breakdown or a process of catharsis in these energies this week, connected to whatever house you have that sitting in. I'm already feeling the process of catharsis. I had a huge release last night. I kind of integrated the release today, and I know there's more to come. But I do feel this cycle is really asking us to consider our relationships to romance and to sexuality, especially for those with a Pluto in Libra in their birth chart. I do feel this transit of Pluto and the Sun aligning is bringing forward intense periods of purging. A lot of purging, okay? We will recover, and on the other side, we will ground in a lot of profound change. So we got to be careful, because there's going to be a lot of shadowy tendencies and unseen forces that can manifest pretty negatively with these energies. So be aware of controlling behavior, whether you're the one playing into controlling behavior or you're dealing with somebody attempting to control you, because this can really skew perceptions. And we can't be resistant to vulnerability. But I do feel this could lead to a lot of loss of status for those that are playing into this very controlling behavior. Who the hell wants to be controlled? I don't want somebody to tell me what to do. And I certainly am not going to tell somebody what to do. If you don't want to do it of your own accord, I'm just going to walk away. Block, delete, walk away. I'm not playing games anymore if you can't meet me where I'm at. Ruthless ambition. So that's like, we have to have a certain amount of ruthlessness when it comes to business, but it's not about exploiting people. It's not about creating rivalry. It really isn't. So be aware of that. This transit can trigger a lot of freaking paranoia. You can be overly suspicious of somebody. You could be overly guarded. There could be an overwhelming paranoid fear of being disempowered in these energies. I do feel this is connected to a lot of the divine masculines, and there is a lot of tendencies in these very heavy energies to lean towards destructive coping mechanisms when you're stressed, when you're overwhelmed. And so if you turn to compulsive, risky behaviors to relieve that, or drug abuse or alcohol abuse, it really is going to lead to a lot of destruction. So step away from that. I know I had to give up a lot of my destructive coping mechanisms along the way, and give up all addictions. And so it also can create this all or nothing mentality, and I can be guilty about that, especially when it comes to relationships with all or nothing. But I'm definitely getting more aware of recognizing patterns and red flags, and discerning what is worth my time and what isn't worth my time. We do have huge potential for growth this week in the energies to fulfill our highest potential, though. So it's not all bad. It's a lot of good energy coming through. There's a lot of potential to soften this excessive self-reliance. And so that brings me back to the lack of unsupportiveness in my day-to-day reality. And I basically do have to be self-reliant day-to-day. It's a huge opportunity to cultivate humility. Humility is the pathway to compassion. It is the pathway to Christ. We can balance empowerment with our compassion as well. There's going to be a huge opportunity to heal wounds without creating new ones, to express but not exploit, and to share our penetrative insights in these energies. We do have an opportunity in this transit to develop equanimity. It's really not about equality. It is about equanimity. And then to surrender the need to control or dominate, which does allow us to foster deeper trust in all of our relationships and connections. And so how can you merge empowerment with principle? Because ends never will justify a means. We are transforming through inner work. Pluto is an inner journey. And it's not just about the external pressures. It really is about an inner journey. And so under these cosmic influences, huge potential for profound evolutionary peaks, which also lead us to the lows as well. So power dynamics are going to definitely intensify. I'm sure they already are in these energies as these energies get closer together. But we are all a work in progress. We are never, ever going to be a finished product. It doesn't matter where you are on the journey. We are all a work in progress. So I do feel get ready to purge into Pluto's depths as the old Earth order passes away and we manifest the new Earth order. This energy is catalyzing major changes this week. And so there is a resisting strain of energy. And we do have to go through this necessary change because our human evolutionary journey is reaching a breaking point, I feel. And so foundations are going to face a reckoning that were built on lies, that were built on anything shaky, whether it's a relationship or a career. And then we do have to go into dismantling these limiting situations when it comes to discord so we can transcend the past once and for all and then have that renewed sense of purpose. And so we do still have Uranus retrograde. We do still have Mars retrograde. And so there's a lot of awareness when it comes to greater personal integrity and a new spiritual alignment that really is emerging within the Twin Flame Collective. We're gaining a lot of psychological insights when it comes to any long buried wounds or maybe a wound that you've unearthed and you've been working on integrating for several years. There could be one last hurrah when it comes to destructive patterns, addictions, fears being exposed, so we can address this dysfunctional coping reality that we keep playing into. And so shadow work is really the best thing you can do for yourself this week to bring you to a new sense of self-awareness, to explore the darkness within and without, because things are going to get very dark this year and we have to hold that light and we have to rise from the ashes in this state of personal empowerment. So there's a lot of opportunities for evolution this week, to break free from limiting ideas, limiting beliefs, limiting environments, to embrace that deeper purpose and deeper integrity. So I do feel these full implications of Pluto are going to take time. It's going to unfold over time, but there's going to be an awareness coming through this week, and we're going to have to go through Pluto's passage, right? This alchemy of transformation is what they wanted me to call it. And so you're going to feel friction between the old you and the new you. We're going to have to work through these wounds and these traumas because it allows us to become these divine messengers when we do this, right? And we are divine messengers as a result of these wounds that we have pushed to the surface. And a lot of the divine feminines, I feel, are going to start to step into that center stage energy. They're really going to have to step into the comfortableness of being in the spotlight. And so we can't avoid issues. This is a very powerful week for healing. On Thursday, we have that big energy connected to Mercury and Mars. And so with Mars square Lilith, Mercury opposite Mars, Mercury trine Uranus, Mercury sextile Mars, and Mars square Lilith, impending arguments and conflict, okay? So watch your words, watch your thoughts. That's actually my mom's birthday, is the 23rd. We have to learn to overcome our insecurities. We're always going to be faced with obstacles on the journey, but we have to honor our truth. We have to honor our true message. And I think the divine feminines are really being called to let their voice and their message be heard right now and their story be heard. And I haven't really fully openly shared my awakening journey and my story with you on the channel. I really haven't gone into that in depth, and it's something I've thought about. It's something I've hesitated about to share with you. My awakening journey. I have shared it with many of you privately on personal calls, but I've not really publicly went too in depth with my awakening journey, and maybe I will. But I think this week is bringing forward a lot of clearing. There's going to be a lot of internalized anger and resentments coming out in a lot of projection through words. And so there's going to be a lot of overly direct provoking hostile communication this week. There's no way around it. And it's just a lot of projections. So be aware of that and be aware of your own projections as well. I feel like I'm getting a cold again or something. With Uranus trine Mercury, heightened mental activity. So that can bring forward all kinds of surprising revelations. It can bring forward a lot of change when it comes to thought processes, right? Uranus is all about change. Mercury sextile Mars, this can create a lot of unconscious competition. Mars retrograde is all about competition. But I do feel this is really highlighting where we can take initiative towards something new. With Lilith square Mars, not a very easy energy. It's going to create tension. It's going to create power struggles. And it's going to bring forward confrontations. I think unavoidable confrontations. And confrontations aren't bad. Because we can grow when we confront what we've kind of internalized or what we've stuffed down and what we've avoided. And when we work through confrontations, we can come through the other side with greater self-awareness and empowerment. And so on Saturday, with Venus trine Mars, I was shown a very prominent energy of the Empress with the Two of Wands connected to the Divine Feminine collective. And I do feel Divine Feminine, your finances are going to start to get a boost. So I think it's really a good time for the Divine Feminine to initiate a new business project, new collaborations. I think you're really going to start to elevate your status. Definitely a leadership energy. It's almost like you're really super in touch with your creative, expressive side in the energies later this week. And we all have talents to use. You have a message that you need to get across to others. So I just feel I'm talking to a Divine Feminine here that is here to create unity within your own community. It's not about domination. It's not about becoming preachy. It's about creating something. It's about creating unity. And so there could be an intense drive that is asking you to create a new passionate foundation for your creativity. And so I feel romantic relationships at this time are also possible. But with the Fool and the Knight of Wands, I don't know. I don't know about that. Fools rush in. Right? And it's not usually good to rush in. I feel the Divine Masculine is feeling very restless in these energies. They are eager to explore something new, to try new things. There's a sense of impulsiveness. And I do feel they're feeling very foolish in these energies this week. Divine Feminine, this really is a time of growth and expansion. It's a time to manifest your desires and to explore new relationship possibilities in this lifetime. We're going to close off the week with Mercury sextile Neptune and Venus, Divine Feminine, sextile Uranus. I think a new enhanced perception about your spiritual pursuits. So I just feel creative communication, telepathic communication with your guides, your higher guides and the archangels. But I feel imagination is going to be really stimulated when it comes to allowing your creative potential to flourish this week, Divine Feminine. You're becoming, I think, aware of new desires. New was the word. Unexpected direction shift is really what this feels like, especially when it comes to this stagnant pattern in this twin flame relationship and embracing and exploring something new. So I was also shown the World and the Queen of Swords, Divine Feminine. And so this is a very powerful combination. I feel you're reaching this intellectual and spiritual achievement, and you've kind of reached a significant milestone in these energies, using your gifts, using your intelligence, your critical thinking, your mystical knowledge. And so it's kind of this completion this week for the feminine is what it feels like when it comes to mastering the relationship between all of this inner wisdom and your universal connectivity to all of these higher Akashic codes. And so let go of the past and move forward. That's exactly what I was asked to write. Let go of the past and move forward. Let go of the grudge. Let go of the resentment. Let go of the hope of a return, of an apology, and focus on achieving your goals to find true fulfillment. And that's really going to allow you to call in what is meant for you. It's really time to let go of the baggage of the twin flame, honey. That's exactly how I was asked to put it. Stay sharp, stay grounded, Divine Feminine, and you've got this. Divine Masculine. You were taken into this energy of the Hermit card and the Death card. And so this is a big, significant transformation and change that you're going through, connected to the 9-year we're sitting in. And so it's really time also for the divine masculine to let go of these old patterns and embrace something new. But I feel the divine masculine is in a deep, dark period of self-reflection, shadow work, inner shadow work this week, which will ultimately lead to a spiritual rebirth. On the other side, it will lead the masculine to a new beginning as well. But if they're afraid of change, if they find it daunting and they're kind of avoiding it, there could be a very painful ending before that new beginning can ensue. And so I think a lot of the divine masculines are stuck in a rut, stuck in a situation that isn't working for them anymore, but yet they're telling themselves it's okay to stay here. And so it's really time for the divine masculine collective to let go of these cycles that are no longer serving them, to make way for something new. But they do need to take a step back from the world and that karmic cycle to go inward, to really examine their life, their choices, as uncomfortable as it is. The divine feminine cannot be there to pick them up during this personal process of growth. It's their job to do all by themselves. And so if they need to take a break from the outside world, they might be put into a holding pattern. They might be laid off. They might lose a job in order to fully explore their inner self. But they're going to be left to their own devices so they can finally get honest with themselves and others this week. And so I just think significant changes are on the horizon for both of the twins. So let's dig in with some cards. Can't believe we are at 41 minutes already. I will try to keep the reading part of the forecast short and sweet. We are going to dig into the guides of the hidden realms, and we had one fall out right away, and it is the consequence of fear. Oh, the consequence of fear. And it actually was in reverse. So it speaks of contraction, the frequency of fear, self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's a 20 card, which is also the energy of judgment coming through. All of the blue on the card, and the consequence of fear is saying, I heard liar, liar, pants on fire. But there is a connection to the throat chakra here. And funny, I wore all of this blue today. I stole my daughter's sweatshirt. I've got my hands necklace that was gifted to me by the spiritual empath with the evil eye on it. I've got my blue eye of protection ring. I've got my blue Princess Diana replica engagement ring. So something about the blue, something about the throat, and judgment, a process of soul retrieval. And so the consequence of fear is allowing fear to hold us back from decisions that we need to make, and usually missing out on a golden opportunity, right? So treasures deep and dark, in the deep and dark, more blue, and then green connected to the heart, letting go of stories. And so I do feel a lot of this week entails releasing of these unconscious patterns, surrendering all of these attachments to what we tell ourselves about the story of twin flame, and getting deep into the shadow work of healing these old wounds. And so the twin flame journey activates us to heal. And so it is a 4 card, and then we get a 34 card. And so I feel an 8 of Wands to an Emperor. So there could be unexpected communication from a divine masculine. And I will say that that communication was very unexpected on the weekend. And I know that is a divine masculine, although definitely not a match for me. Okay. So let's see what needs to come through for the divine masculine. I feel the consequence of fear is a message for both of the counterparts, right? So don't let the frequency of fear hold you back from any goals or any new career pursuits, divine feminine. Divine masculine, don't let the consequence of fear override you when it comes to fulfilling a prophecy. So I was pulling into the divine masculine energy first, and we did get this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise card. It is speaking of mentorship, fulfillment, peace of mind, and self-care. It's also bringing forward this energy for me of the Page of Cups. And so I feel a deep exploration of a childhood pattern. And if you see these 3 birds, and I have no idea what kind of birds they are, but there could be 3 very significant ancestral loved ones on the other side, connecting with the divine masculine. There's something about 3s for me, everything for me happened in 3 on my awakening journey. And then it's kind of like this energy, I want to say, of like the lotus with the all-seeing eye. And so seeing maybe something very clearly about the masks that they wear. And so 33, that is a master number. It is connected to the 7 of Wands. That is key 33 in the tarot. And so the many masks that the masculine wear for protection have really prevented them from their authentic self and their authentic self-expression to come forward. And so I think they're in this process of almost like a rebirth by fire. Jesus was 33 when he was crucified. It is a master teacher number. And so I think the masculines are definitely in the thick of a lot of shadow work in the energies this week. So a card for the divine feminine, frozen for a time, and it's a 16 card. So a tower, and I will say I did kind of have that tower come in. Look at the giant crown on this person. And so the crowning, I do feel you could be receiving a lot of crown chakra activations. This really is a time to slow down, not yet as things are being woven. So non-action. The tower, I love the tower energy though. I'm hearing Let It Go from Frozen right now in the echoes in the background. The tower I like because it kind of breaks down anything false. It might be breaking down a belief or a pattern for you. And then we get serenity out of exile. And so you are in this portal of radical acceptance, surrendering, and trusting that things will work out for you exactly in divine timing is really what that is saying for me. And I do feel receiving some visions. I gotta say, ever since we had that full moon in Cancer, things have been very challenging, very heavy. I noticed the dragonfly energy. That's interesting. I do associate that with my grandmother a little bit. So I just feel you've got a lot of spiritual energies around you, divine feminine. So let's go a little bit deeper with the Heart's Hidden Secret deck. And let's see what else needs to come through for the divine masculine before digging into the tarot. I'm sure the kids, I pre-record these on the day before. I'm sure the kids are just dying for me to get supper going because it's kind of getting late here. So what do we got for the divine masculine? I see a peeker. I'm going to take it. Is there any other messages? There we go. There we go. Okay. Very interesting. So we got intuition, beauty, and a second chance came out for the divine masculine. And what flew out sideways on top of the masks that we wear was the commitment card. And so this is a challenge for a lot of the divine masculines. They fear commitment. There's a lot of divine masculines that I have worked with throughout the years that I'm well aware they have gone through a divorce after being married. There's fear of a second marriage. There's fear of being hurt. Who isn't afraid of being hurt? And so there's a challenge there when it comes to them committing to any type of path here or going towards any type of commitment. Although below the surface, below the masks that they are wearing, their heart is telling them they have a deep inner knowing that they are being urged to take a risk, to go forward, to ask for a second chance. I do think they are just charmed by the graceful, kind-hearted beauty that the divine feminine is exuding. And they do want to make amends. And I will say that the divine masculine that did reach out to me on the weekend did want to make amends, but the pattern was still there. And so an apology really is futile and useless if you haven't changed the pattern for what it is that you're apologizing for. And so I do feel the divine masculines are exhausted. Either they've recently been rejected, like I rejected that person, or they are in an irrational fear of being rejected, but ultimately because they are rejecting their own truth, their own authenticity. And it's exhausting always wearing a mask. It's exhausting always playing a role. And it drains you when you're not authentic or you're around people where you can't be your authentic self. And so there's a very shallow energy, I feel, surrounding the divine masculine this week. There's an emptiness. And I do feel due to these past life repetitive patterns. And so they've got to complete the karmic lesson connected to foundation and family and stability. And so let's see what needs to come through for the divine feminine clinging. If you still find yourself clinging, hoping, obsessing, holding on to this person, to a specific person, spying on them, you've got to let that go. You've got to stop that. And there's no judgment there. I have been in those shoes in the beginning of the journey, and the obsession almost at times is overwhelming. But you've got to stop that. You've got to stop waiting and holding on for an apology, because when pigs fly, honey, you've got to forgive yourself. You've got to stop obsessing or holding on to a return or an apology from your divine masculine. So release this. Let it go. Move on. Walk away. However that resonates for you. I always think, whenever I see this card, I think of that Taylor Swift song, The Prophecy. Thought I caught lightning in a bottle, full throttle, and then it's gone just as fast as it comes in. Let it go. Stop avoiding what needs to be released. It's like you've been ghosted. You've been left in this dry desert. Stop escaping. Stop blocking your path. Stop pushing away any new opportunities that are coming along, waiting for somebody that you attach to be your divine masculine. Because remember what I talked about earlier about the 12 oversouls. So we have many opportunities to create soulmate union with people. So this is blocking your new beginning. Walk away. Okay, when we play into the holding on, it does create stress. And so I just feel there is an emotional storm brewing for you, divine feminine, this week. And this is going to have to be released. So I think this is an inner tower of turmoil that needs to be released, especially when it comes to the ghosting and the silence and being stonewalled due to the lack of the open heart, because the masculine is bluffing, right? But we can't control other people. The only thing we have control over is ourselves. So let's pull in with the tarot, because I just heard my kid tap, tap, it tapping. So I'm sure she's going to want something. Let's jump in with the tarot. We get the Devil card. And I just heard that song, Who Sings It, Rat in a Cage, with the King of Wands. And so I told you that King of Wands energy was very prominent. I think it was Thursday. So it's almost like the obsessive energy surrounding the masculine is coming through. Something about that Capricornian energy as well. So obsessing, don't obsess over the counterpart. I also feel the masculine is obsessing about taking action, but still holding back. The Ten of Cups just fell right on top of this shallow card. So I don't know if you are dealing with a masculine who is in a cycle with a karmic or another soulmate that might have a lot of Pisces in their chart. I just feel that's the energy of illusion. I feel illusion. I did peek and see the Ace of the Cups on the bottom of the deck. It's like they're in this very shallow, hollow illusion, pretending that this is like the cat's ass and this is my happily ever after, and maybe it's a blended family and they got a dog. But I feel it's an illusion, and so there's a need to heal that, right? So let's get these 9 cards out and let's see what needs to come through for the twins. So we get the King of Coins. The Tower, there's going to be huge upheaval when it comes to that false materialistic foundation that the masculine has built this week. Strength card, a Leo, so we get Earth, we get Mars energy, which is Pluto. So this Mars retrograde, this is all being dismantled. Whatever was created out of materialism and greed and ego is all being dismantled. So a major tower coming through for the masculine. We get the Two of Coins, which is a huge indication of a realignment. And if you look at this card, this person is naked. And there is this energy of authenticity. Oh, the Two of Coins to the Seven of Coins to the Nine of Coins. I was going to say 2 plus 7 is 9. Lots of coin energy. And so, yeah, the Devil, materialism, greed. Yeah, they're going to get a major wake-up call, likely when that Uranus transit takes place on Thursday. And then the last card out is the Ten of Swords. And we all know what this means. This is the card of betrayal. This is the card of the worst has happened. The worst is about to happen. And then the bottom of the deck, the Four of Swords to the Page of Cups. There's that deep inner emotional exploration of the healing of the core wound. Something big is going down on Thursday, I feel. And over the course of maybe the next 7 days to 7 weeks, there is going to be a breakdown of this false foundation. And I do feel with the 9 of coins, this is the feminine just choosing to be independent, right? It's a very singular energy. I also feel this has been a long time coming, a long time coming. And so the 7 of coins is a huge opportunity to plant a new seed, a seed of loyalty. What are you loyal to? Are you loyal to greed? Are you loyal to falsity? Are you loyal to ego? Or are you loyal to the path? Because the devil has a hold on, I feel, the divine masculine collective right now. And Uranus is coming to shake things up this week in order for this healing journey. So let's clarify the Tower. What is this Tower all about connected to the divine masculine collective? Healing. I do believe this is connected to the Sun conjunct Pluto energy, and I believe that was taking place on Tuesday. And so once again, the star is about authenticity. We get the 6 of coins, which is basically the Justice card in the lower arcana. There is, that's the energy of equilibrium coming through. And then the Hanged Man. And so there is a major perspective shift for sure. Neptune is breaking down some type of an illusion. And so a lot of the masculines too will play the martyr, play the victim, even though they have created their own negative circumstance. And so there is some type of karmic reckoning for sure taking place this week. What is the 7 of coins? Because this can also mean the energy of stuck in a rut, right? Temperance. Thank God we got something here, alchemizing, healing that broken heart. And so deep shadow work, deep emotional exploration. And I do believe that is due to the Mars retrograde. And so they've got a lot of work they got to do when it comes to healing their heart and these past patterns and these addictions. So what has the devil got to say? A life force activation, the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, the tree of life. It's almost like a major wake-up call, right? I need a drink of water. A major wake-up call, especially connected to the Fool. So let's look at the Fool and the 10 of Swords, because this week is ending, I feel, with a major bang. And so basically the Fool to the 10 of Swords is saying accelerated motion forward. We get the Magician to the 8 of Wands to the 9 of Cups. And so huge opportunity to expand, huge opportunity for new creative pursuits, new creative endeavors, but something needs to end first after all of these challenges. And so I just feel a major energy of victory, but there's a lot of deep shadow work going on here for sure. And so we've got a new moon in Aquarius coming up here on the 29th. And then 2 weeks later, we're going to have a full moon in Leo. And so a major portal of death, transformation, facing fears, bringing to light everything that's been hidden, that's been repressed. And we are going into the year of the snake on the 29th as well. And that is also when the North Node will be moving into Pisces. And so a major energy of shedding. So Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer energy coming through. Let's get an inner child message. Let's close it off with that, and let's see what the inner child has to say for the twins this week. I just feel a week of revelations. A lot of energy is being cleared, and a lot of inner child healing. So what is the inner child message? Look at that. Right out the gate. 3 right out the gate. Pull yourself close. Pull yourself close, because every part of your being is deserving of love. I feel an Ace of Wands quality, and so you might be reminiscing, but let love guide you. Choose to see the good in the world today, right? We still have to have those healthy boundaries. We can't have the rose-colored glasses on, but we can choose to see the good amidst the Tower moments, amidst the breakdown, and then we get review your responsibilities. And so not all responsibilities are yours to hold. And so that is definitely connected to Saturn. That is connected to that 2 of Wands energy that I felt at the beginning of the week. And so a major re-evaluation of responsibilities. Let's read that, because it kind of just always comes full circle. So what is stopping you from releasing or taking responsibility? Ask yourself that. So taking responsibility is binary in nature, and it's like a coin. There will always be 2 sides to the coin. And we got that 2 of coins. There will always be 2 sides to the coin. And so on one side, if the responsibility is not ours to hold, it can be draining and harmful. On the other side, if the responsibility is ours to hold, it can be very empowering. Empowering. So there's certain aspects of ourselves that only we can be responsible for, right? We're not responsible for other people. If you are giving your personal power away by being responsible for another person financially, emotionally, or being responsible for their karma, you are hindering their growth process. So that's why I say let go, Divine Feminine. You can send them love, but send them on their way and let go and unhook yourself from this twin soul, twin flame belief, because you can damage your relationship to growth as well. And so everybody has to work through their awakening process individually regarding their own life responsibilities and karmic debt and responsibilities. So journaling, I think, will really help all of us this week. Write down what it is you feel responsible for and let go of anything that is not yours to handle. And so it can be really hard to release responsibility that you've taken on for somebody else too. And so I think right now we are in a major portal of overwhelm, to say the least. And go seek out that professional help if you do need it. I'm not an actual counselor. I'm a card reader. If you do want to book in for a reading, a twin soul reading, a transit chart reading, I can definitely tell you what's going on in the energies, but I am not a counselor. So that's kind of what I got for a message for the week ahead. So yeah, if you would like to book in, check it out down below. I also do offer private astrology mentorship. There's 4 or 8 sessions. It's all very reasonably priced. It works out to be less than $88 a session. If you're interested, hit the sign up. It doesn't automatically make you a mentor or a mentee, but go check it out. I'd love to be your mentor if that's something you feel guided towards. I do hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. Don't forget to go check out my Facebook page. I do post daily tarot and oracle messages over there while I am going through this recalibration and this rebirth process. So if you're not already over on Facebook, go check it out if you're looking for a daily message. They're short, they're sweet, and that's about all that I can put out there right now for the collective. But I thank you all. If you stuck it out to the end, thank you. Let me know down below what you think. Hopefully I see you all again next time. Have a great week ahead, everybody.